So today I'm going to tell you about Her Smell. It's an indie movie. It's about Becky something. She is a self-destructive, substance abusive, spiritually confused punk rocker who's trying to get her career back to glory, which is not easy because she is in a downfall and a very self-destructive spiral. This is an indie movie. It's a hard movie to watch. It's supported by long scenes, by hard scenes, in your face kind of scenes. It's written by and directed by Alex Ross Perry. I'm going to say right now, I didn't see any of his previous movies. His main hits apparently are Golden Exits and Listen Up Philip. I didn't see them. So what seems to be his style? Hard, in your face, long, intense scenes supported by performances, close-ups, always in your face, always in your face. Very hard to watch, very real. This is a movie that is, he said, I read it someplace that he said that in a Q&A in 2008 in New York at the New York Film Festival, he said that his main inspiration for the character was Axl Rose. People are talking more about Courtney Love for the reasons that everyone can tell. It's divided. He also said that the structure of the script was inspired by the movie about Steve Jobs. It's divided in three parts, three very, very defined parts and definitive for the character. So these three moments in that character's life is very are very obvious of the character, of the personality, of the struggles, of the bio, you know. It's really interesting. I found it interesting. I think it's almost in real time. So you have this scene, the three parts are different scenes and they're almost in real time. So you are watching it as the scene develops. You know, hard dialogues, hard scenes, always in movement. I found it artistically very interesting. I say that it's supported by the performances and basically supported by one performance of the main character done by Elisabeth Moss. She did Mad Men and Us and lately The Old Man and the Gun. She says that everything she said was on paper, so it seems like it's improvised. It's not. It's on paper. Everything she said, it's on paper, which is pretty amazing. She apparently learned guitar for 3 months to play this character. She is an astonishing actress just by looking at this movie alone. Astonishing. But the critics say, and many of them say, and I kind of agree, that it's a little too much Elisabeth Moss. Because the other supporting roles are so good and the actors are so good and I think that they could have used those actors in those supporting roles a little better and still make it exactly the same way, just with a little less Elisabeth Moss, because we get to a point when it's yeah, okay, she's good, yeah, fine, you know. I mean, this is the main criticism I have to make. I read, I think it was in IMDb, a review of a review that says it's called Honest Review. I think it's called an honest review, and it says it's just a good movie that's hard to watch for obvious reasons. I agree. And the Guardian, Willem Mumford of the Guardian said, Her Smell is built around the performance of near unwatchable toxicity by Elisabeth Moss. I agree. Absolutely agree. You have other people in it. You got Cara Delevingne, you know her from Suicide Squad and Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets and Anna Karenina. Anyway, you have Dan Stevens. You have Agyness Deyn. I hope I'm not saying this wrong because I loved her particularly. You have Gayle Rankin. They're all fabulous performances, fabulous professionals, apparently. I loved Agyness. Oh God, I should have looked that up, but I didn't. I'm sorry. Agyness Deyn. She's amazing. I wished there was more of her. I mean, she's always present, and they're always present. They're a band, you know, but it's a girl band, 3 people. It's a woman-driven story as well. I don't think this would have been made a few years ago anyway. But I would have liked more of these people because they have amazing stories and they have amazing performances. So what do I think? I think the script is brilliant. I think the direction is very present and very interesting. Hard, in your face, close-ups, nagging, but it's necessary, I think, because then you understand, you know, it's destructive, and you get it, and you get sick of her, and that's the point. Or if it didn't have that effect on you, it wouldn't be the same movie. So I get it. I get the choices. I think it's brilliant. I loved it. Probably I have to check out the other movies by Alex Ross Berry, obviously. The music, I thought, and this is about a band, I thought the music was kind of lame. Sorry. Could have been stronger. I mean, you're talking about punk rock, and then kind of feels like a little poppy in the lyrics and in the it's not all there. It is, but it's kind of, it feels like it's amateur. Sorry, it feels like it's a little amateur. It's more style than substance in the music, I thought. I'm sorry. It's my opinion. I also think there's also one thing that I didn't talk about. The main character, has her take on spirituality. She has a spiritual path, a little confused, very based on the divine feminine, if you will, which is interesting. Kind of portrayed in a dark way. It doesn't have to be that way, but I get it. She's dark, you know. She's a punk rocker and she's doing substances, so she's kind of intensively dark. I found interesting that they chose to show this spiritual side. It's shown in almost always in a negative way, and then you have this final scene about it that brings women together, almost like a coven. Which is, you know, women with a spiritual path, if they come together, people say it's a coven, so fine, it's okay. Who cares? And that last scene is interesting. It's kind of ritualistic, the way she lives it. But it's interesting that it's shown on camera. I found it interesting. A little confused and twisted, but interesting. And it exists. The divine feminine and the whole living it, and even in that realistic, ritualistic way. I found it interesting to see it on camera. Of course, this is a messed up character, and that part is also messed up, and people may confuse with mental illness, may confuse it with mental illness. It doesn't have to be lived that way, but there is a spiritual path in this character, and I found it interesting that it was portrayed here. So I had fun. I think it's a strong movie, hard to watch, but I'm glad I did it. Wish the music was better. Wish there was more of the other characters in it, because the actors really nailed it, all of them. Wish there was a little less of Elisabeth Moss, although I think she is a monumental actress and did a monumental job here. And I found it interesting that this character has a spiritual path, even if it's in a twisted and difficult way. I say go watch it, but most people, it's an indie movie, so it's not exactly for all sorts of audiences. So if you're used to seeing indie, watch it. If you're not, don't. If you like music, go watch it and tell me what you thought. And if you like what I'm saying at all, or if you think that I should keep saying it, subscribe to the channel, share it, like it, and that's the point. If you don't, there's no point in being here. So thank you for watching, and go to the movies.